In today's video, I'll be answering Part 5 and Part 6 of the Etihad cabin crew video assessment, and I know many of you have been waiting for this because these two sections confuse applicants the most. Watch carefully and try not to skip ahead because missing even small explanations can change how you interpret the questions. Sometimes, I do explain all the details in the video, and still get comments from a few candidates asking me the same exact questions, and that's when I know they just skipped the video or didn't watch to the very end. So, please, if you really want to become a cabin crew with Etihad, make sure to watch this video to the very end. Do not skip every detail and information I will be sharing. It will be of huge help to you. The applicants who watch until the end usually understand the assessment differently compared to those who rush through. And if you genuinely love what you're learning here, you already know what to do. Like the video, share it with other applicants, and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. But before we start, let me clarify something, and honestly, I feel like I've been repeating this for so long now. The video assessment is not the final interview. Yes, let that sink in. This stage has simply replaced the old video introduction that used to have only 3 questions. So, if you're feeling pressure right now, understand that this is just an early screening step. After completing this video assessment, if successful, you may be shortlisted for the face-to-face assessment, or the online assessment, also known as the virtual assessment. And remember, if Etihad announces an open day near you, you can also register and attend directly. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you already know I've created exclusive detailed videos explaining exactly what to expect during the virtual assessment, the face-to-face assessment, and the open day experience. I always say preparation removes fear, and the applicants who understand the process early usually walk in calmer, more confident, and noticeably prepared. So, if you haven't watched those yet, you already know what you might be missing. Also, I've already shared questions and answers for parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, so today we are completing the final parts, that is parts 5 and 6. In this video, I'll also be playing soft music in the background while I share the answers, so you can follow along easily. Let's start with part 5. This section has 20 questions, mostly about your work experience, and just like part 3 and 4, it is also a multiple choice answer questions. The expected completion time is 2 minutes. However, there is technically no strict time limit. You could take 10 minutes if you want, but please, do not take too long. If you spend excessive time here, recruiters may assume you are consulting outside sources instead of answering naturally, and airlines value authenticity and quick professional judgment.
Yes, you heard that right.
So, here is my advice that will be of huge help to you when answering this part. First, go through your CV. Know exactly what you have written in that CV. Your answers must match your experience, be consistent, and reflect the same professional image shown in your application. Recruiters are checking alignment between your personality, your experience, and the airline's values. They're asking themselves, is this candidate safety-minded? Do they take initiative? Do they naturally help others? And, do they demonstrate responsibility? Alright, so an example question for this part is, how many times have you suggested a safety tip to a coworker or friend? For the options we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5, and the last option is more than 5. Now let's understand recruiter psychology here. Airlines prioritize safety, culture, above everything. Choosing 4 to 5 or more than 5 shows awareness, initiative, and confidence in speaking up about safety. So, yeah, higher choices generally present a stronger safety mindset. However, choosing 3 is still acceptable because it shows realistic behavior without exaggeration. The key is credibility. As I always say, the recruiters are not looking for perfection. They are looking for consistent professional behavior. So answer in a way that reflects someone who notices risks, communicates respectfully, and takes responsibility. Now let's move to part 6, which, honestly, many applicants say is the most confusing section. This part includes 39 questions about your approach and personality, with multiple choice answers, and the recommended time is 4 minutes. Again, you can take up to 10 minutes. But ideally, if you've been following my guidance videos, you'll probably finish much faster because you already understand what recruiters want. And honestly, preparation makes a visible difference here. In this part, each question gives 2 statements. For example, statement 1 is, when I want to influence someone, I try to emphasize my point of view. And statement 2 is, when I want to influence people, I try to see things from their point of view. First, you choose the statement that sounds more like you. Then you must choose, somewhat, or most. This second step is what confuses many applicants, and here's how to understand it better. Somewhat describes you reasonably well, while most strongly represents your natural behavior. Recruiters are evaluating teamwork, empathy, communication style, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. In aviation, collaboration and empathy are extremely important, so responses showing understanding others, cooperation, customer awareness, and flexibility tend to align better with cabin crew competencies. You are not choosing what sounds impressive, you are choosing what reflects a professional service mindset. And yes, below each section you will also see a Like Me option. This simply reinforces how strongly the statement matches your personality. Take a moment, read carefully, and answer consistently. Alright. From this point, I'll be playing music in the background while you watch the answers for part 5 and part 6.